feature matches, and then once one of them finishes, we run out into the mass and sea of players, find people sideboarding, and then we move them across to the feature match area so we can give you the most amount of games in the most amount of time possible. Because realistically, we know you're not here to listen and look at our beautiful faces. You want to see paper being slung at each other like this lightning bolt. So we look, so we've got Is It Prowess, an actual Is It Prowess deck, not Murktide, versus Jund, says Jund Sagavan, so it's Jund Ragavan with Urza Saga in. And both these players look like they are 3-0, battling out for 4-0, going in, giving themselves the best possible chance. We're going to see this Lava Dart sacrificing a mountain to get a trigger.
It's a lot of prowess triggers. I think Jiri is trying to get Delirium.
We've got, I think it's land spell in hand. That was only turn 1. Double lightning bolt land in hand. That is a lot of damage if this all connects. That'd be what, 9, 10. This could be a swing for 12 this turn if we've got Delirium. Is there anything we need? Well, basically, we're deciding what do we need to play around. Is there anything on the other side? We're not playing around anything like Solitude-wise. You know, we've seen the Jund colors, so nothing too crazy. Is it Slaughter Packs? The 0 mana black removal spell?
Yeah, but now wouldn't be a great time to play because you can't pay the upkeep trigger.
Not allowed to miss that trigger either anymore. If your opponent doesn't pay it and then draws a card, they just rewind it and you have to pay it.
This was an interesting turn for Yeti, who could have double Lightning Bolt Carl, which would have triggered the Swift Spear twice, and you would put Carl to 8 more damage. So Carl would be on 4. Maybe he wouldn't shock himself. So 4 to 6 life. But now you can use the Lightning Bolts to save your Swift Spear this way. I believe that's an Unholy Heat.
Yep, that's an Unholy Heat. I don't like that. I think I'm putting that in the graveyard if I can. We're thinking about it though, because potentially if it's something like Tarmogoyf comes down here, we ain't getting through it anytime soon.
Yeah, I think with Carl only having 1 more mana this turn, and you having another Channeler trigger, I think it's perfectly fine to put that Heat in the graveyard and look for something more proactive. Yeah. Even something like Lava Dart would be fine, because that at least triggers the Swift Spear a bunch of times.
Do we want this land? Yeah, potentially we could use that land and get a redraw, but no, there's no point doing it. We're going to put it in the graveyard. This Lightning Bolt on the stack. I think we've got another Lightning Bolt in hand here. We're deciding over on Carl's side, does he want to 2-for-1 himself? Well, I suppose it's like a 2-for-1 here. A lot of triggers that happen. How much does he want this off the battlefield?
And Carl is very smart about playing the Lightning Bolt on his own turn, because with all these prowess triggers, if you wait for the opponent's turn, you target the Swift Spear, it grows to 3-4, you're just taking some extra unnecessary damage. I think Carl has another Lightning Bolt in his hand.
So we're going to finish it off here. Get off the battlefield, leave our opponent with no cards in hand, 1 creature in play, and top deck in.
So the graveyard has what? It has a land, because that was sacrificed to Lava Dart. It definitely has an instant, because that went to the graveyard this turn, and it definitely has a creature because the Swift Spear died. So we might be getting pretty close to Delirium if you can draw something like Mishra's Bauble, for example.
Didn't get a good look at what the draw was for the turn. Obviously, the glare is pretty rough on this table for us, but we'll do our best to bring it to you. It's all these foil cards. People will just come in this weekend with the best pimped out decks they can have.
The players did just cast 4 Lightning Bolts last turn. 2 and 2 from each side.
Is that the beta ones?
I think these are this is the beta art, but I think this is the foreign black border 4th edition kind of version.
See, I'll do the alternate arts. You do the aged ones, right?
Yeah.
You do the boomer thing, and I'll do the I don't know what I'm a boomer myself, but. So let's get turn sideways. Just I think it's a point of damage. I can't really make out too well in the graveyard, but we'll see. I think we've got Ragavan, Renin 6 for the turn. If that isn't a 3/3, it might not live, is what I'm going to go with here.
Yeah, I believe we're missing the 4th type for Delirium. I think there's only land creature instance, so this Renin 6 is gonna kill the Channeler. Yeah.
This. Do we have a mutagenic growth to save it?
Oh.
Why did we not do this last turn? If we did that, and if that's a Mishra's Bulbul on top, that would go in the graveyard, turn Delirium on. This would have been 5 damage, and it would drop them to 1. We're looking. I think it is a Mishra's Bulbul, which will turn the Delirium on, but we don't need to turn it on right now because the Mutagenic Growth is going to save it. We're going to crack this, draw it anyway. Untap. Opponent's at 5. We're looking for something like a Lightning Bolt.
So Lava Dart would do it,
Yeah,
Lightning Bolt would do it,
Haste Creature would do it.
another Mutagenic Growth would do it.
I think that's double Bauble. Bauble, trigger, land on top. I think I'm ditching it. I don't like it. Well, we've kind of gone all in here, right? We're trying to find a way just to finish this game. 2 points will be on the other side for our opponent. Thinking about it, though. What 2-drops do we have in the deck that we could, potentially end up drawing if we can't cast them, or how much trouble we're going to be in?
I think Expressive Iteration kind of screams like a card that would be great in this deck, so that would be my top pick for a 2-mana card if there are any in the deck. I think that's a Tormod script being put in the graveyard. So now the channel has Delirium even without the bubble being put in there.
Maybe I would have done this the other way around. Maybe I would have bubbled my opponent before I did the second one, just to see what I'm digging for. But there's methods to madness here. We're targeting the Renin 6. Okay. Oh, that's time being called on the round for everybody else. Obviously, these feature matches do have a little bit of extra time, so don't. If you can hear that, don't take it too personally. We will be bringing you more rounds. I think that was 6 minutes there by the judge indicating.
What are the rules these days with the Mishra's Bubble triggers? Can you put a little thing on the top of your deck that reminds
I'm sure
you?
you're allowed to. I'm sure you're allowed to do that.
There's always so many things that happen in a turn that it's really easy to forget that.
And here comes the Spell
Wow,
Bomb.
that is gonna
That's going to shrink that down.
So great decision by Jiri to attack the Renin 6 last turn, because now the Spell Bomb would have stopped his Delirium, and then the Renin 6 would be able to finish off the Channeler. Also, keeping the second bubble on the table, to possibly crack it end of turn, means that now there's going to be at least an artifact in the graveyard.
Yeah, very good heads-up play there. Does look like we managed to draw a third land drop. Our hand is stacked, though. We've got things like Colligan's Command in there. I think that was an Inquisition. Sagavan. We're going to fetch a basic up here. Kind of save our life total a little bit, so I think we might see the Inquisition get cast. Yeah, I think that's Fable, Sagavan, Inquisition, and Colligan's Command.
Yeah, another reason not to crack the bubble is you are playing against a deck with a bunch of discard spells. So keeping the bubble in play and cracking it at the end of your opponent's turn means you're going to get the card on your turn, and that way you play around sorcery speed.
So I like this. So there's no reason here. We're casting the Mutagenic Growth, even though it's going to get taken out of our hand. It's not going to save it from anything. Doing this for the trigger, being able to manipulate the top of our deck, potentially give ourselves the best chance of a good draw, and it looks like we like it. We are going to use the Bauble end of turn, as you said, so we get to draw 2 cards in our turn. 1 in our upkeep, 1 for our draw step. Opponent at 4 life. So close.
Monastery, Swift Spear, Mutagenic Growth, bam.
Nope, we're getting across. So that's
another 3.
1 point. Is it Lightning Bolt? I think that's Lightning Bolt. Oh no, it's Mage.
Oh, Soulscar Mage.
Yes.
I was also thinking, if it's a lightning bolt, what are we playing around? This is not going to be a deck with Pact of Negation or anything like that.
So yeah, we're literally stepping on eggshells over here on Carl's side. He's got to be able to deal with this battlefield. Hope the top decks don't play out. Do we use the Colligan's Command now to kill one of these creatures, make them discard, kill this? You discard. It was a.
I think it was a Steam Vents.
No, it's the dragon, the Sprite Dragon.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Soul Scar comes across it. It's not a spell to get Delirium. It's another Soul Scar coming down. 2 lethal threats on the backfield. Off the top.
Wow! And look at this game. Carl drew 3 lightning bolts, which is the best card you can have against a deck like that, and he's still on 3 life.
This is super back and forth. Attack, blow this up, put both these in the graveyard. Great 2-for-1 here. Red and 6 off the top of the deck.
All right, now this is the turn where Carl can finally go, okay, now the board's clear. I'm not, at the mercy of my opponent just possibly killing me next turn. Sure, they can still draw a lightning bolt, but at least they have no creatures. So now I can finally start casting my fables, get some value out of it, start making some treasures, dig deeper into my deck, maybe find something like a, Sheol Dread or I don't know if there are any other ways to gain life, but I'm sure if there are, Carl is definitely going to be looking for them.
Okay, we're going to untap. That's an iteration in hand and 1 red card drawn for that. Then it might be a Swift Spear, I think. We're going to find out super shortly. Was a Swift Spear? Look at my eagle eyes. It managed to pink, but doesn't line up too well against a 2/2 Goblin Shaman on the other side of the battlefield. That's a Mrs. Bauble for the turn. Sire's going to tick up to 2. We can discard up to 2 and draw that many cards. Oh, we're going to use the Ragavans. That's what we need to know.
When I was looking at Frank Carson's Metagame Mentor article, I noticed that Jund recently spiked in popularity. He was being played a little bit more. And I also saw that Reed posted a bunch of videos, him playing Jund in Modern. Yeah. So I wonder if these two things are correlated.
Well, I mean, once he won the Pro Tour, he is Mr. Jund himself. If he's playing this deck, maybe he thinks it's good. It's going to pick up a bit in popularity. And we are going to discard 2, the Ren and 6 and the Ragavan. We're going to draw ourselves an Urza's Saga.
Yeah, you might be thinking, well, Urza's Saga, that doesn't really go into Jund, right? Like, this deck is just playing a bunch of discard spells. There's not a lot of artifacts. But you do have Ren and 6.
Yeah.
I keep calling the card Ren and 7. I keep doing it every single time.
You do that a lot. But no.
you get to reuse it all over again, and just get.
Well, Jund wants to be the mid-range deck of choice, right? He wants to be able to grind your opponent out. Ren and 6 plus Urza's Saga is a very good way of doing that, making multiple construct tokens. Plus, we can go get our cheaper artifacts, like we've seen the spell bombs, the baubles. There's probably a spear in here somewhere.
And Carlo went from no board to having 5 permanents in play in just 1 turn.
But he is still dead to a lightning bolt off the top. We can't forget that. That is a Talus Tracker, an EE, and I couldn't get a good look at the other card. Oh, it's the Ragavan. Okay, another land for the turn.
Yeah, the clock is ticking.
Sagas are all going to start ticking up. This one's going to flip. Doesn't have haste, so we can't start copying this turn. Let's have a look. That's Fatal Push in hand. We're getting the threat off the battlefield straight away.
I think that's a Fatal Push that can clear the blocker. Yeah. You can dash the Ragavan. So Arnold definitely has lethal next turn if he wants to.
How bad would it be if this Ragavan connects and hits a lightning bolt?
Oh wow, yeah, that would
be brutal.
That would be such a feel bad. Okay, attack with the Goblin token, make a treasure.
And we're taking it. Okay, flip the top card. That's 4 points of damage. Iteration.
Expressive, and you have the treasure, so you can actually cast it yourself.
Might not what we want to be doing it, but if it's a sign of strength if they decide not to cast it, right? You're like, oh, you're not casting this? Okay.
Yeah, exactly. If you're the Izzet player, your opponent reveals Ragavan, the expressive from your Ragavan, you're like, oh, wow, that sucks for me. And then they decide not to play it. You're like, oh, wow, your head must be stacked.
Okay, yeah, so good point there. Why did we not tap the Urza's Saga? I guess the actual game plan there was to use it to make a token, but we hit iteration off the top, so that's a real good one. So we're now going to kind of change gears and not make a token. But we could, if we can hit a land drop this turn, that potentially doesn't do damage to us. That'd be great. We can still make that token on turn if we need to. And if we do hit an untapped.
I think he can also draw, like, obviously he doesn't know about the Fatal Push in hand, but he can also draw something like a Lava Dart here that would kill the Kikijiki Reflection and double trigger the Swift Spear. So even though he has no cards in hand, that doesn't mean he can't get 2 Swift Spear triggers next turn.
I think it has to be Lightning Bolt, right?
Yeah, with the Fatal Push in hand, it does have to be Lightning Bolt.
Okay, big draw step. Just making sure the life totals are correct, making sure the tokens are right. Ah, because the Sagavan connected,
Oh, that
two
was
treasure
extra.
tokens were made.
Right,
Yep,
right.
just one got you. Oh, are you gonna look at the
Yep.
top of your deck? Are you gonna look?
I always look.
I always look. I'm a look as well. Can we see that lightning bolt? I'm looking. No, they're not a looker. They're not a looker over. I respect that. I respect that. Giving ourselves the slight margin, thin in our deck with the fetch there. Give it the, 0.06% or whatever it is for doing this. Tapping the top of our deck and hoping for the best. Mutagenic growth, not enough. Do we have to block now? So they make a token end of turn.
I think the Kiki Reflection is still summoning 6, so
Yeah.
I don't think there's going to be another creature, but
Well,
Carl can use the Fatal Push, and then next turn
it's a construct.
dash
I meant, sorry.
dash the Sagavan, which would be enough to close the game.
Yes, here's the construct. That's going to be a 2/2. Potentially a 3/3 if we choose to make another one with the Saga. That's the Besagi off the top.
This game was quite a roller coaster.
Oh, yeah.
And Jiri had like 5 turns to draw the Lightning Bolt.
Pretty sure that Saga's going to have to go up to 3. And yep, we're going to make a token before we sack it. Making the constructs 3 powered. Now, like, what? I think the game's over either way, but, Shadow Spear here, just giving it trample, could close the game.
So, by the way, I talked to Frank about last round, right? How we were thinking, okay, if Frank still has the Gingerbread in deck,
Yep.
He's going to get that. And Frank said, yeah, I mean, I really built this deck like yesterday. I didn't really, know all the cards. And I was planning on getting Shadow Spear. And as I'm looking through my deck, if I saw the Shadow Spear first, I would have gotten the Shadow Spear. But since I saw the Gingerbread on the top of my deck, I'm just like, oh, wait, I can just use this to win the game. You're 1. And yeah, that was the story.
That's what he said to me as well. He's like, yeah, if I found the spear first, I would have just put the spear into play. But like, and that's the advantages of learning your deck through and through, finding these little lines. But luckily for him, Fatal Push is going to take the creature out. Goodbye, Swift Spear. 2 mana. Equip the Shadow Spear to the token, making it a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 powered life linking trampling construct. And I imagine we're going to combat. It will be 6 power if the Goblin Shaman decides to attack and makes itself a treasure token. Just what have we got to play around? How do I lose the game here? I've got 1 card in hand. Pretty sure it's not a lightning bolt. Pretty sure it's not a lava dart. Are we using a treasure token to make a copy of another construct? Makes another artifact so it kind of bounces itself. Make a treasure. Yeah, shaking your hand. Just making them go through all the motions. GG for Carl's there, taking it down, going to 4-0. So that's Jund Sagavan taking down our backup feature match there. Congratulations to them. I'm pretty sure I can hear a lot of people like going off in the background in the hall. So that is going to be the end of that round, I imagine. So we'll come back to us in the booth, and we'll